Hello. All right. Welcome to the fourth edition of NCUC, with the third one having been called off due to COVID. We're here at ISC for the third pool game for these teams. These teams, you have BITS UFC Goa starting from the right, and HUCK from Azim Premji on the left in the blue jerseys. Um, I have Wasim with me. This is Sisa and Wasim commentating on this game.
Hello. It's nice to be out here watching some Ultimate. Bits have started on offense. Just showing some good patience with the disc so far. Sisa, what do you know about these teams so far?
Right. BITS are a team from Goa. They've played two games. They won both their games so far, and that's the first point of this game. BITS UFC 1, Azim Premji 0. BITS have had two games, won both of them pretty comfortably, 15-4 and 14-6 if I'm not wrong. HUCK have had an interesting two games. They came back from an 8-3 or 8-4 deficit to lose on Universe Point in their previous game. So yeah, it's going to be interesting fun. This is the third game for both these teams and their last game of the day.
So HUCK started off their defense with a zone, so I'm curious to see what kind of defense Goa is going to put.
All right, so that's the four women on the line. So the gender which has the maximum number of people on the line pull. That's a new rule that's been introduced this season. So HUCK on offense, looks like a person defense. An unfortunate drop on the sideline from HUCK. There is a slight wind in these grounds. It's coming from the far side towards the camera, and that's pretty much how this turnover happened as well. Wind just taking the disc up in the air. Oh, there's a good look. Oh, just out of reach of the receiver in the end zone for HUCK.
HUCK seems comfortable swinging, but if there's an open shot, they seem to be willing to take that as well. Were the games earlier in the morning, were they windy, Sisa? Did the wind pick up, or has it been like steady all morning?
Yeah, the wind has been this steady, and now we're seeing a little bit of a drizzle as well, which is going to be interesting to see how teams cope. That's Krishna with the disc, if I'm not wrong.
once they were able to get past the zone. Oh, we have a call. The disc is being sent back. Was it a pick? Yeah,
that was
the pick call.
So for the first time viewers, a pick is when uh, there's an obstruction for the defensive player to reach the player that they were marking, and that obstruction could be in the form of any player on the field. That's a good upline and a score uh, by Bits UFC. So Bits UFC 2, HUCK 0. By the way, that was not Krishna on the field. That was a Krishna lookalike. So it is again a 4 women, 3 men line. So how the gender ratio changes is when you start the game, you play. There'll be a toss, and the captains would have chosen a certain gender ratio to begin the match with, and that's the first point. And the next 2 points is played with the opposite gender ratio, and the next 2 points with the other gender ratio which was played in the first point. So that's how it progresses. So we're on the 3rd point of the game now. Bits UFC leading 2-0. The rain seems to have caught up now, slightly heavier as well.
When you said about that Krishna mix-up, it just struck me. It's been 4 years since I last played here, and going from a time where we pretty much knew everybody who played Ultimate to just come here and see so many new names is just like both fascinating and kind of sad for me that I don't know who's who and who's what right now. It seems to have exploded so much, which is awesome.
Yeah, UPAI's initiatives on NCS National Championship Series, the college ultimate scene, it has grown quite a lot over the last 4 years that Wasim's not been around. There was a turnover from HUCK. Bits UFC go back on offense. Bits UFC has a bunch of players who played club on different clubs this last season. So they have a few players who've had more experience, some exposure to more competitive ultimate. HUCK on the other side are players from Azim Premji University. Okay, that should have been a turnover. But somehow the disc has gone back to HUCK. Oh, nice catch. HUCK looking towards the end zone, and an unfortunate drop.
Both teams seem to be pretty comfortable with having 5, 6, maybe 7 swing passes. But then when the time comes for advanced or forward pass, there seems to be a little bit more cleaning up this needing to be done. Except in this case. Nice throw. Good look. And that's the score. So far, game-wise, Bits seem to be a little bit more in control of their game than HUCK. Gotta wait and watch if HUCK warm up to the level of the game that Bits has brought in so far.
Look off. Bits UFC. Unfortunate. are taking it from the sideline. Interesting. I'm not sure if it landed out then. Look. Yeah.
First thrower probably had the option to brick it.
He should have been the fourth edition, with the third edition being called off due to COVID. The first edition of NCUC National College Ultimate Championships was won by Ashoka. The MTB Surat. The third one was called off just before the pandemic. Were traveling when the lockdown hit and had to return halfway. And this is the fourth edition here in Bangalore at the IAC Gymkhana grounds.
Where was the second edition held? The one that Surat won?
I'm not sure where that was held. That looks a nice look into the end zone. And there's the first score for HUCK. HUCK 1 beats UFC 5.
HUCK used the wind to their advantage as well. There's a slight crosswind, that's a cross tailwind, that which really helped that disc catch some air and float into the end zone. So that was some good use of the wind. And we are seeing teams struggle a little bit when they're going in the direction towards the going towards the right when there's a cross headwind.
So here's the first opportunity to see the offense line of BITS Goa. HUCK ready to pull. It's 4 women on the line, so you're going to see a person identify themselves as female, pulling the disc as a good one into middle of the field.
The wind suddenly seems to have picked up too. And a somewhat similar throw in the previous point, it aided HUCK to get that score, but this time the wind seems to have pushed the disc further away from the back of the end zone. Right now it's not necessarily steady wind. There seems to be a lull and then wind picking up, so the more experienced of handlers and throwers will definitely have a slight advantage over relatively newer players and throwers.
A good defense on the upline cut, giving UFC a chance to score, but an unfortunate drop with the disc bouncing off the hands of the receiver there.
HUCK have been playing a vertical stack. They seem to have lined up diagonally. So the D, but as you can see, there's been a foul call. Upline throws are hard in general, but in this wind, it just adds a layer of complexity to it. Hitting those tight spaces. HUCK seems to have some trouble hitting those tight spaces. Alright, they retain the disc. That was a nice D. Bits so far have shown some good patience on the end zone. Let's see how this one plays out. All right, clean finish.
That's Sri Lakshmi with the score. Hey, rule clarification. Certain. Oh shit! I was speaking on it.
The play continues from where the disc went out, not where the person last touched it. So Bits gets to advance to quite a distance. Oh, nice D. Just a little bit more patience would have helped. But then in those situations, you know how it gets. you want to finish the point as soon as you can. This particular formation, defensive formation from Bits is interesting because they have 3 guys on the cup. And they have 3 other women players playing the mid rolls and 1 deep. I wonder if that's tempting the HUCK handlers to throw longer, but it seems to be working for Bits in terms of getting that turnover. Oh, that was a nice floaty pass. Almost there. Bits pretty much had HUCK it pinned in their own end zone, but the handler had it enough and he was like, I'm gonna get this out of here. Didn't work out.
It is an interesting strategy to put the disc away from your defending end zone and play defense.
Benefit from having an extra person on the handler, or at least swinging it to their third handler and making that cup work more for getting that D. Alright, that was close. We're seeing a pattern here in this particular point where 3-4 swings and then a long shot. Continuation cuts and some strong handling as well. There's some contact. Have you noticed what the level of like conversations have been around like foul calls? Are you noticing some sort of pattern or?
No, I haven't. I mean, this is my second game that I've been watching. Looks like that was resolved fairly quickly with Huckett not contesting or accepting that foul call made by the BITS UFC player. Yeah, 7-1. So that is 7-1 to BITS UFC now.
Yeah, I saw half a match before this, and just looking at this match, it seems to be a pretty healthy way about going about the discussions. People seem to be knowing the rules. Of course, hard to say if you're not.
Huckett with the disc at their own brick mark. The score is 6-1 to BITS UFC. Wow, that's a nice catch. Another upline. They seem to be liking to move the disc upline, and a great foot block by jersey number 20 Jatin from BITS UFC. BITS on offense, looking to take the half now. If they happen to score this, that'll be half time. Oh, that was a Huckett back on offense.
You can see the impact wind's having on people's throws. There are so many catches that are being bobbled or caught on the second attempt. So it's a good thing that a lot of teams are keeping their passes and the yardage gain short. Nicely done. Huckett get their second point of the game. Scores now 7-2. 7-2.
This edition of the National College Ultimate Championships is brought to you by HMT, the title sponsor, and Canada Bank, who are the title sponsor for the entire fest, the Rhapsody, hosted by the Indian Institute of Science. So thank you HMT and Canada Bank for making this possible for hundreds of ultimate players from across the country. It's a privilege for all of us to be watching, commentating, playing, and bringing this game live to all of you.
I really like the music in the background. It's adding a different vibe to this whole tournament. They're having some sort of sound check going on, but it's definitely adding to a more lively atmosphere right now. We see a lot of teams on the sidelines, but we also see a lot of family and parents sitting and watching.
So Wasim Vaibhav Deshpande says hello, and Nishan Jefferson knew that was your voice. So Huck it on defense. The scores at 7-2 to Bits UFC. Uh, Bits on offense. Just ahead of their brick mark. Disc to Sri Lakshmi, who moves it up line to Adi. Adi looking for cuts. There, the wind taking the disc well above the reach of Sri Lakshmi. Huck it on offense, calling a force of backhand. A nice gainer. Stuck on this near sideline, looking to reset the disc. They look into the end zone for the receiver. That was close.
Bit starting off their offense from their end zone line. A pretty good job staying on this side of the field until that last moment where the Huckett player had a good defense, heads up defense, and they get to do the same that Bits just did now. Oh, just a little high. The thing I'm liking seeing about Bits players is on the turnover, the handlers are quick to pick the discs up, but the cutters downfield seem to be pretty ready to react to that as well. So they have options to pass. All right, with that score, Bits is 8 and Huckett is 2, and that will be halftime.
8 already changed.
What do you think? What are we doing? What should we do better?
The number of viewers has gone up to 20, and I think Wasim and I will take credit for that.
100%.
Alright, we are back after the halftime break. Bits UFC leading 8-2.
So the way the games are going for both teams right now, force bits to make a little bit more errors. We see two deep cutters, a long throw, almost made it. But the good thing is they at least force bits to start their offense all the way from their end zone line. That was a really nice complete from number 0 on bits. Long throw, floaty pass, fading left, making sure the receiver is always on the bits leading 9 to Huck's 2. The games are played to 15 or 75 minutes. We have both teams lined up. It's a nice pull, fading in, making it slightly hard for the handler to catch. Yikes. Nice. Just like how we were speaking about a little earlier. On a turnover, the bits team is very, very quick to react to get their offense going, while Huckett seems to be a little slow on switching from offense to defense on turnovers. Bits 10, Huckett 2.
All right, that's a great pull by Bits UFC, almost in front of the end zone. Trying to swing it to the middle of the field. Ah, that was almost a Hackett still very close to their end zone. Not gaining yards, but I've patiently moved the disc around. There's a approach, there's a look, and a defense from the deep. Bits UFC with a chance to go up 11 to. That's one pass straight into the hands of the receiver.
Just the chemistry between the players in Bits also seems a little bit more smooth than Huckett. So for the National College Championship, um, the players are eligible to play if they have a current admission in a college, but because last year's tournament was cancelled, this year UPAI has allowed students who have graduated but were eligible to play last year to form a team or play in their respective colleges as well. So this time you have a mix of students who are currently enrolled as well as people. They worked the disc up pretty well and showed a lot of patience near the end zone, and that seemed to have reaped some rewards for them. Huckett have gone up to 3 points right now, and Bits is at 11. Score is 11-3.
Hackett starting on defense. That pull landed in. Sri Lakshmi with the disc. moving it up line to Adi. Adi with the turn, trying to center the disc or look for downfield cutters. Unfortunately, ended up not finding anybody. Huck it with a chance to lower the gap. That's a nice save by jersey number 2 Shravan. Oh, and a hand block. Is there a call? No, there's no call. It was interesting to see. And now we have a person streaking deep and into the end zone for a score. That's 12 2 bits.
I'm really liking number 10 bits Adi's throws. They seem to have a little bit of angle on it, but just enough to keep them floating and going. And often they're coming into the thrower while being a little leading at the same time. We've seen multiple long throws follow that same kind of trajectory, both on forehand and backhand. Bits with yet another break and a chance to increase their gap more. That was a good look. Receiver stood in one spot, giving the defense an opportunity to have a run through D. We see a deep cut, rewarded by a deep throw, and a nice read from the defender on Bits. Bit of a slinging match going on right now. Bit sideline egging their team on to get a Callahan now that HUCK is trapped in their own end zone. That was a stall out claim and looks like it's not being contested. So HUCK have managed to get themselves stalled out in their end zone. Bit setting up their end zone play. That's Ananya? Is that Ananya? Ananya, the handler, is walking up. That's a simple score. Bits leading 13 to 3. They're 2 away from finishing the game. Do you know what the we see some of Bits' regulars on the sideline. It seems like they have taken the opportunity to give some of their younger, newer players a little bit more game time and have their more regulars play fewer points in this game. The disc on the pull just barely going out. So HUCK has started the brick call. Nice sharp cut to an open receiver, but went through her hands unfortunately. Bits 2 points away from claiming this game. And with yet another break, we see deep cuts going long. The handler really tempted to throw long, but reels it in. Nice D. There seems to be some contact. On the face of it, it looks like number 10 Adi got the disc, but obviously there was contact, and the receiver on HUCK is having some discussion. The foul's been contested, so the disc has gone back to the thrower. People are going back to the positions that they had just before the throw.
Not bad, Wasim. You seem to remember all the rules, even though you've now transitioned to playing frisbee golf more.
Yep. That was one of the things that I was nervous about commentating. Is I knew my rules pretty well when I was playing, but it's been so long, so I was like, well, Sisa, you got to talk about the rules, and I'm just going to be like, All right, HUCK gets another score on the board for them. So that's 4 for them, and Bits stay at 13. So over the course of the pandemic, around the world, disc golf really took off simply because it was one of those sports where you can play by yourself, or you don't need a big number of people to play. So it was kind of COVID safe, And where I live in Latvia, it really exploded. Every 3 months we saw a new course being set up. Uh, Places like the States, everywhere, the level of the tournaments just blew up. And there has been some efforts trying to see if we can get disc golf going in India as well, but like the real estate is the problem. Finding big places for Ultimate itself has been challenging, so setting up a 9-hole or an 18-hole course has to be either really far away or really expensive.
There seems to be some kind of confusion on the field regarding the gender ratio, I'm assuming, looking by the conversation that's going on. Teams have understood and have decided to repull. Huck it with a pull. The end zone. Swing to Ananya. Ananya to Sri Lakshmi. Oh. Sri Lakshmi trying to advance the disc. Put out a blade. Cause the turnover and huck it back on offense now. Oh. Right through the crowd. And Bits get the turn.
Huckett defense can really benefit from holding their mark on the disc mark and not allowing themselves to be broken so often. Nice D. The zone is slow to set up for Huckett, and Bits are taking use of that. It looks like they're trying to transition into person defense, but it was too little too late, and Bits is 1 point away from claiming this game as their own. Are they?
Okay, looks like maybe we got the scores wrong and that or no. Bits getting too excited and calling that a game, only to be corrected by the scorekeepers and the awesome commentators that they were wrong. So game has to go on. It's 14-4 in favor of Bits.
A lot of times in situations like these where you have a substantial lead, this is an opportunity for teams to really stress on the importance of finishing strong, because time and time again we've seen teams with big leads be complacent only for them to either end up barely winning or even losing by teams that make a charge trying to overcome that deficit. And same for teams that are lagging by a lot of points. These are good opportunities for them to really hone their mental skills to see if they have it in them to keep fighting till the game is really done. While Bits is just 1 point away, we still have at least 10-12 minutes left on the game clock. Is able to have a little bit of fight towards the end, just to make it that much harder for Goa to finish this game. Deep look, looks a little behind, and that is an incomplete pass. Turnover from HUCK, giving Bits a chance to close this once and for all. Sri Lakshmi has been handling pretty well all game. A little bit of an errant pass there from number 20, Jatin. With that crosswind too, like a bladey backhand tends to be pushed down more than usual. You could see that happen. You have a long pass, unfortunately to no one. Strong handler movement. Again, you see that the need for that touchy throw when you're throwing with the crosswind. HUCK look like they're trapped on the sideline a bit, trying to get rid of that spot. And they have a turnover in the end zone. And that's game for Bits. 15-4.
Right. That's it from Wasim and me for this game. Thank you all for tuning in. See you.